Everything I desire is already mine, and I now walk in the reality of it. When you speak this, you command the unseen forces that shape your life. You are no longer hoping, you are declaring. The moment the words leave your lips with conviction, the shift begins. The mind accepts what is spoken with certainty, and the world mirrors it back. No hesitation, no halfway belief. You speak it, you own it. You act as if it is already here. Every action you take today must match the reality you have claimed. Doors will open, ideas will appear, people will align, because you have stepped into the life you spoke. In 24 hours, your vibration changes, your opportunities change, your reality changes, not because the sentence is magic, but because you are. Say it now, believe it now, live it now. Everything I desire is already mine, and I now walk in the reality of it. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, the moment it leaves your lips with full conviction, everything around you begins to rearrange itself to match the truth you've just declared. This is not wishful thinking. This is the law of life. Every word you speak is a command to the invisible forces that govern your path. Words are seeds, and the moment they are planted, they grow. They do not wait for permission. They do not ask for your logic to approve. They obey the certainty in your tone and the faith in your heart. Your life right now is the harvest of past sentences you spoke with feeling, whether knowingly or unconsciously. You have been programming your reality every day without realizing it. Every complaint, every doubt, every fearful prediction has shaped the ground beneath your feet. But the same law that created problems can create miracles. All it takes is one sentence, spoken with the full weight of belief, to reverse the tide. One sentence to redirect the course of your entire destiny. When you speak a sentence with absolute certainty, you announce to life, "This is who I am, and this is where I stand." The moment you do this, unseen currents begin to move. People you've never met are stirred into motion. Opportunities you could never have planned start appearing in your path. Even what looks like a setback is repositioning you closer to what you have declared. The outside world bends to the inner decree. The mind accepts what you repeatedly tell it, but it transforms instantly when the truth is spoken from the core of your being. This is why hesitation kills and conviction creates. Half-belief leaves the door open for doubt, and doubt slams the brakes on your momentum. But the moment you speak your new reality without hesitation, you give life a direct order that cannot be ignored. It does not matter what you see in front of you. The visible is only the delayed reflection of what you previously believed. Speak as if what you want is already here, and act in harmony with it. If you want wealth, speak as though you already own it, and handle every choice with the responsibility of abundance. If you want love, speak as though it surrounds you, and carry yourself as someone already cherished. If you want health, speak as though your body is radiant, and live as someone who treasures their vitality. The sentence works because it demands alignment from you. Once you declare it, you cannot shrink back into your old habits without feeling the tension. You will notice every choice that matches your new reality and every choice that breaks it. That awareness forces growth. It forces you to step into the person who lives in the reality you've claimed. Some will tell you this is unrealistic, that words alone cannot change anything. But those who understand the nature of life know that every great shift began with a single statement. Empires, movements, revolutions, transformations, all began with someone speaking a truth they refused to abandon. They declared it before anyone could see it. They lived it before anyone could believe it. And in time, the world had no choice but to catch up. The sentence is not a magic trick. It is a mirror for your mind and a command to your spirit. When you speak it, you give your subconscious a target so clear it cannot ignore it. And once your inner state changes, your actions, tone, posture, decisions, and energy all transform without you forcing it. You become magnetic to the life you've claimed. There is only one requirement: you must mean it. You must speak as though it is the only truth that exists, and you must refuse to speak anything that contradicts it. You cannot plant the seed of your new life in the morning and dig it up in the afternoon with words of fear. The sentence will work if you let it grow. It will work if you water it with gratitude and guard it from the weeds of doubt. When you choose your sentence, keep it simple. Keep it strong. Do not cloud it with conditions or explanations. A clear decree cuts through resistance. Say it until it feels like your natural state. Say it until the old reality feels foreign. Say it until the world starts answering back in the language of your new life. Do not wait for proof before you speak it. Proof arrives after the declaration, not before. The world listens to the voice of certainty. It ignores the voice of hesitation. Speak as though you already hold what you want in your hands, and life will make sure your hands are full. The sentence is your permission slip to step into a life that has been waiting for you all along. Every time you speak this way, you rewrite the code of your reality. In 24 hours you will feel different, think different, and attract different, and from that day forward nothing will be the same. Because the moment you spoke that one sentence, you stopped living as a victim of circumstances and started living as the author of them. And once you know you can write your own reality, you will never again accept the story someone else tries to hand you. Not in some distant mystical sense, but in the immediate way they shape thought, mood, and the path your life takes. Every word you release is a force that moves into the world and begins its work. Words are not empty sounds, they are instructions, they are blueprints, they are the seeds from which your reality grows. When you speak, you are not just describing your life, you are deciding it. The tone, the choice of language, the certainty or hesitation, all of it matters. When you say something with conviction, it sinks into your subconscious mind like a command etched in stone. That command influences your beliefs, and your beliefs drive your actions. Those actions create your results, and your results become your life. This is why careless words are dangerous, and intentional words are transformative. Words set the boundaries of what you believe is possible, and open or close the doors in front of you. Every transformation begins with language. Before you change your habits, before you see a shift in circumstances, you must first speak something different. Your words send a signal to life that you are ready for change. They mark the moment you stop agreeing with your old reality and start declaring a new one. A sentence spoken with absolute certainty becomes the cornerstone of your future. If you speak defeat, your mind will find ways to prove you right. If you speak victory, your mind will seek opportunities to make it true. This is not chance, this is the law of alignment. Your mind cannot hold two opposing truths at once, so it bends itself to match the one you repeat with the most energy. And once the mind bends, life follows. The outer world is simply a delayed reflection of your inner dialogue. Words carry vibration. Every word carries a frequency, and your personal energy responds to it instantly. Speak words of strength, and you will feel stronger. Speak words of doubt, and your body will mirror the weakness. This is why it is impossible to live a powerful life while speaking powerless words. Your language is the fuel your spirit runs on. If the fuel is contaminated with fear, self-pity, or limitation, you will stall. But if your language is rich with courage, gratitude, and vision, you become unstoppable. You must become the guardian of your speech, not out of fear, but out of understanding. You would not casually throw sparks in a dry forest, so do not throw careless words into the fertile ground of your mind. Speak only what you are willing to see grow. If a word would not serve you to live in, do not speak it into existence. This discipline is not repression, it is creation. It is the conscious choice to plant only what you wish to harvest. The power of words does not come from volume or force, it comes from belief. A whisper of certainty will move mountains faster than a shout of doubt. The moment you believe a word fully, it gains momentum. It begins to attract matching situations, matching people, matching outcomes. This is why your words must match the life you want, not the life you are trying to leave behind. Speaking about lack will multiply lack. Speaking about abundance will multiply abundance. When you choose your words, you are choosing your identity. Every I am statement you make is programming your mind to see yourself in a certain way. I am strong, I am capable, I am blessed. These are not wishes, they are declarations, and when you declare them consistently, your mind begins to act as if they are law. You walk differently, you decide differently, you stop settling for what contradicts your statement. The most potent way to use the power of words is to speak in the present tense of what you desire. Do not push your dreams into a distant future with phrases like I will be or someday I'll have. The mind responds to the immediacy of now. Speak as though you already hold what you desire. Feel it in the moment of speaking. Align your actions with it as if it is already part of you. This collapses the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It is not enough to speak your truth once and forget it. Words gain strength through repetition. The more you say something, the deeper it carves into your belief system. And once a belief is fully rooted, it becomes the lens through which you see and filter the world. This is why affirmations work for some and not for others. Those who succeed are not simply reciting words, they are inhabiting them. They are speaking them with faith, feeling, and follow-through. Guard your words in moments of frustration or fear. These are the moments you are most likely to speak in ways that undermine your progress. Do not curse your life with careless declarations. Do not label yourself with limitations you do not wish to keep. In difficult moments, pause, breathe, and choose the word that points you toward the life you want, not the problem you face. Words carry power because they shape the unseen first, and the unseen shapes everything you can see. Speak deliberately. Speak boldly. Speak as if life is listening, because it is. Speak as though every sentence is an order to the universe, because it is. Speak until the words you choose become the only truth you know, and watch as the world around you rises to match the sound of your voice. Faith plus decisive speech moves mountains that doubt and hesitation could never touch. It is the unstoppable union of inner certainty and outward command. Faith is the invisible engine, decisive speech is the steering wheel. Without faith, words are hollow sounds that drift into nothingness. Without decisive speech, faith remains locked inside, unable to shape the physical world. But together, they create a force that reshapes reality. When you believe fully and speak without wavering, the world must respond. It has no choice. Faith is not blind hope. It is the deep knowing that what you declare is already true, whether your eyes can see it yet or not. It is the unshakable conviction that the unseen is as real as the seen. When this kind of faith fills you, your words carry a weight that pierces through resistance. You no longer speak to wish, you speak to command. You are not begging life to give you something, you are directing it to deliver what is already yours by right of belief. Decisive speech is not reckless speech. It is not throwing words around in desperation. It is the measured, deliberate act of choosing language that reflects your chosen reality and stating it with authority. It does not tremble. It does not ask permission. It declares. A decisive sentence leaves no room for contradiction. It does not open the door for maybe or if. It stands as a decree. When faith and decisive speech merge, they create alignment. Your inner state matches your outer expression. There is no hidden doubt in your tone, no fear in your body language. Every part of you, your voice, your posture, your actions, stands behind your words. This alignment is magnetic. It draws in people, opportunities, and events that match the reality you have spoken into being. The reason most words fail to change lives is because they are spoken with divided energy. A person says they want abundance while carrying the energy of lack. They declare health while expecting sickness. They speak love while holding resentment. Words like this are mixed signals, and life reflects the confusion. But when faith saturates the words, there is no division. The sentence becomes a single, unstoppable arrow aimed at a target, and it cannot miss. Faith does not wait for evidence before it speaks. Evidence arrives after the declaration, never before. If you wait until the world shows you proof before you speak, you will never speak with the force that moves the world. Decisive speech demands that you step into the reality of your words before you can see them reflected back to you. You walk as though the promise is already fulfilled. You act as though the answer has already arrived. This is why every great transformation, every great victory, begins with someone who spoke with faith when the evidence said otherwise. They were not reporting on what was, they were declaring what would be. They did not dilute their words to fit the present moment. They spoke from the reality they had already claimed in their spirit, and because they would not contradict themselves, life had to shift to match them. Faith plus decisive speech also shapes the speaker. The moment you declare something with conviction, you place yourself in a position where you must grow to match it. Your habits, choices, and standards begin to rise. You become alert to every opportunity that supports your declaration and resistant to anything that opposes it. Your words lock you into a higher standard of living because you cannot speak powerfully about something and then comfortably act against it. To speak decisively in faith is to take responsibility for the reality you are creating. You cannot hide behind excuses or blame once you have declared a thing as truth. You must either rise to meet your words or shrink in dishonor to them. Faith will not allow you to shrink for long. It will push you, stretch you, and guide you until your life matches your declaration. The world is filled with people who speak without believing, and their words dissolve into nothing. But the world is also shaped by those who believe before they speak, and speak as though the world has already shifted. These are the ones who command change, who call forth results in hours and days instead of years. They do not have stronger voices, they have stronger conviction. You do not need to shout for the world to hear you. You need to speak from the place inside, where you already know it is done. Speak from the center of your faith, and the sound will carry far beyond your physical voice. It will ripple through conversations you never hear, through decisions you never witness, through connections you never expect. And all of them will lead back to the reality you have spoken. When faith fills your words, you do not need to repeat yourself out of fear that nothing is happening. You can repeat for reinforcement, but not for desperation. Once the command is given, you trust, you act in harmony with it, you keep your speech in agreement with it, you refuse to plant seeds of contradiction in the same soil as your declaration. Faith plus decisive speech is not a tool you use once and forget, it is a way of life. Every day you are speaking into your future. Every sentence is shaping the days ahead. The question is not whether your words have power, they always do. The question is whether you will use them with faith and decisiveness, or with doubt and hesitation. Speak as one who knows, not as one who hopes, and watch how quickly the world moves to fulfill what you have dared to declare. What you declare with certainty becomes the law of your life. It is not just a statement, it is a command that shapes the unseen forces moving on your behalf. When you speak with full conviction, the words carry a weight that cannot be ignored. They leave your mouth, enter the atmosphere, and set things in motion in ways you cannot see yet. The moment you declare something with certainty, you are no longer hoping or wishing, you are claiming. You are standing on solid ground, and life adjusts itself to match your stance. Certainty is the difference between casual talk and creation. Many people speak words they do not mean, words they are not willing to stand behind, and those words scatter into nothing. But a declaration made with certainty has a clear destination. It does not wander, it does not hesitate. It moves directly toward its fulfillment. Life responds to that kind of clarity because it recognizes authority. When you speak with certainty, you are acting as the author of your own reality instead of a spectator waiting to see what will happen. Every great shift begins with a declaration. The world is not moved by indecision. Doors do not open for maybe. Opportunities do not wait for someone who keeps changing their mind. Certainty cuts through confusion and creates space for action. It sends a signal not only to the world, but also to your own mind that there is no turning back. When your mind receives that signal, it begins searching for every possible path to make your declaration true. What you declare with certainty also shapes how others see you. People are drawn to those who speak with unwavering confidence, because certainty feels like safety. They will support you, follow you, and align with you because they sense that you know where you are going. The opposite is also true. If you speak with hesitation, people will hesitate to trust or support you. Your certainty sets the tone for how others treat your words. To declare something with certainty is to close the door on all alternatives that contradict it. It means you have decided. It means you are willing to act as though it is already done. This is why certainty is so powerful. It forces your actions to align with your words. If you declare health with certainty, you will naturally choose behaviors that protect your well-being. If you declare success with certainty, you will take steps that reflect that level of commitment. Your declaration becomes a standard you must live up to. Certainty is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is the moment when your belief, your words, and your actions are all moving in the same direction. When that happens, momentum builds quickly. You begin to notice opportunities you once overlooked. You start attracting situations that match the reality you've spoken. Even obstacles begin to serve you, redirecting you toward the path that leads to fulfillment of your declaration. There is a hidden danger in speaking without certainty. You train yourself to doubt your own word. Every time you say you will do something and fail to follow through, you weaken your inner authority. But when you make a declaration and live in harmony with it, you strengthen your self-trust. Over time, your mind begins to believe that whatever you say will happen, must happen. This inner agreement makes your words even more powerful. What you declare with certainty must be protected. You cannot speak powerfully in the morning and then cancel your own declaration with words of doubt in the evening. The moment you let uncertainty slip into your speech, you send mixed signals to your mind and to life itself. Guard your words as you would guard your most valuable possession. Speak only what you are willing to live in. Speak only what you will not betray with fear or inconsistency. When you stand in certainty, the present moment no longer dictates your words. You do not speak based on what you see right now, you speak from the reality you have claimed. If the evidence around you does not match your declaration, you do not lower your words to fit it. You hold your words until the evidence rises to meet them. This is the way certainty transforms circumstances. It is not a reaction, it is a cause. The strength of your declaration depends on the strength of your belief. This is why you must feed your mind with thoughts, images, and experiences that support what you have declared. The more you reinforce your certainty, the less room there is for doubt to creep in. You are building an unshakable inner foundation, and from that foundation, your words can stand without wavering. What you declare with certainty today will set the direction of your life tomorrow. You do not need to know exactly how it will happen. The how is the work of life itself. Your role is to speak with clarity, act in alignment, and refuse to contradict yourself. Every moment you hold to your declaration, you are shaping the future in your favor. The world has always been changed by those who dared to speak with certainty before anyone else could see what they were talking about. They were not waiting for proof, they were creating it. They were not repeating the current reality, they were declaring a higher one. And because they refused to bend their words to match temporary conditions, the conditions eventually bent to match their words. When you make a declaration, you are taking ownership of your destiny. You are saying to life, "This is where I stand, and I will not be moved." That kind of stance leaves no room for compromise with fear. It leaves no opening for indecision. It moves you forward because you have already decided there is no other way. That is the power of what you declare with certainty. It turns possibilities into inevitabilities, and inevitabilities step into the version of yourself who already lives in the reality you've been asking for. Carry yourself, think, speak, and decide as though the change has already been made. Because the moment you begin doing this, you send a signal to life that the waiting is over. You are no longer standing at the door hoping for an invitation. You are inside, living in the new space. This is not pretending. This is embodying the truth before it becomes visible, so that the visible has no choice but to follow. When you act as if the shift already happened, you bypass the energy of longing and step directly into the energy of having. Longing keeps what you want at a distance. Having pulls it closer, because you are no longer vibrating with lack. You are in alignment with the very thing you've been seeking. You've stopped asking when, and started living in now. This is the state where creation accelerates, because everything in your words, actions, and energy says, "It is done." Most people wait for external proof before they allow themselves to feel different. They wait for the money before feeling wealthy, for the relationship before feeling loved, for the healing before feeling whole. But life mirrors your inner state, not the other way around. When you decide to act as if the shift already happened, you change the reflection before the mirror changes. You choose the feeling first, the posture first, the language first, and the outside rearranges itself to match. This requires discipline. Your senses will try to convince you that nothing has changed yet. The old evidence will still be in front of you for a while, but you must refuse to let it dictate your behavior. The key is to respond to every moment as the person who already has what they want would respond. If you've declared abundance, you speak and make decisions from the wisdom of someone who is already abundant, not from fear of scarcity. If you've declared success, you manage your time, your focus, and your commitments as someone who has already succeeded. If you've declared love, you carry yourself as someone who knows they are cherished and valuable. Acting as if the shift already happened does not mean spending recklessly to prove wealth or forcing relationships to mimic love. It means aligning your choices, attitude, and energy with the reality you've claimed. You become the match for it in thought, word, and action. Life is drawn to consistency, and when your behavior is consistent with your declaration, it cannot help but deliver what you've been living out internally. This way of living changes you at the core. It raises your standards instantly because the version of you who has already made the shift will not tolerate the habits, conversations, or compromises that belong to the old version. You naturally start to release what doesn't belong in the new reality, not from a place of force, but from a place of incompatibility. It simply no longer fits who you are acting as. You also begin to see opportunities you would have missed before. When you inhabit the energy of the shift, your perception changes. You recognize resources, ideas, and openings that were invisible when you were in the mindset of waiting. You start taking actions that only someone living in the new reality would take, and those actions create results that accelerate the shift even more. This is not about deceiving yourself. It is about deciding who you are before the world tells you. Too many people let circumstances dictate identity. They wait to be validated by external events before believing something about themselves. But when you act as if the shift already happened, you reverse that order. You tell the world who you are, and the world adjusts to accommodate that truth. You must protect this state fiercely, especially in the beginning. Doubt will try to pull you back into your old patterns. People around you may not understand why you're behaving differently. They may expect you to continue operating from the same limitations. But the moment you start bending to those expectations, you step back into the old identity, and the energy of the shift begins to dissolve. Hold your ground. Stay in the role of the person you have chosen to be. Acting as if the shift already happened also changes your emotional state. You begin to feel gratitude before the evidence appears, and gratitude is one of the most magnetic states you can be in. You begin to walk with confidence because you know you're already aligned with your outcome. This emotional shift creates a momentum that draws matching circumstances into your life faster than effort alone could achieve. The reason this works is because your mind cannot tell the difference between a deeply felt imagined experience and a real one. When you fully step into the feeling and behavior of the desired reality, your mind accepts it as truth. Once the mind accepts something as truth, it begins arranging your focus, actions, and decisions to support it. Your outer life becomes a mirror to your inner conviction. Every day, you have a choice. Live as if you are still waiting for change, or live as if it has already happened. The first keeps you in the energy of lack. The second puts you in the energy of fulfillment, and the energy of fulfillment attracts more fulfillment. This is why the shift happens faster for those who choose to act as if it's done. They stop reinforcing the absence of what they want and start reinforcing its presence. The world is shaped by those who live from the end, who carry themselves as if they have already crossed the finish line. They speak, think, and act from the position of victory, and because life responds to the certainty of that position, victory becomes inevitable. When you act as if the shift already happened, you are not hoping for change. You are living as the change. And when you live as the change, the rest of the world has no choice but to catch up to you. Doubt slows every process, turns every decision into hesitation, and scatters the energy that could have been used to move forward. Conviction condenses that energy into a single unstoppable direction. Doubt is a brake, conviction is a throttle. The speed of your results, the swiftness of your transformation, depends on which one you allow to dominate your mind and speech. When doubt is present, every action is tentative. You second-guess yourself, start and stop, and unconsciously send mixed signals to life. One moment you are moving toward your goal, the next you are wondering if it's possible at all. This back-and-forth motion is exhausting, and it slows the momentum of creation. The energy that could be focused on building your future is wasted on questioning whether you should even try. Conviction, on the other hand, removes hesitation entirely. It is the decision before the decision. It is the moment when you resolve that your outcome is certain, even if the path is unclear. Once conviction is in place, your energy stops leaking into doubt, fear, and what-ifs. Every thought, every action, every word begins pointing in one direction. This concentration of energy accelerates results because nothing is working against itself. Life moves quickly for the person who knows where they are going and refuses to question whether they will arrive. The mind works differently under conviction. It stops entertaining alternative futures that contradict your goal and begins noticing every opportunity that aligns with it. You act faster, speak clearer, and decide with more precision. You stop wasting time on roads that lead nowhere because conviction has already eliminated them. Doubt thrives in uncertainty. It feeds on the absence of decision. The moment you leave a goal open to too many possibilities, doubt finds a way in. But conviction closes the door. Conviction says, this is the direction and nothing else matters. And when you live from that level of clarity, your movements are sharp and intentional. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. Conviction is magnetic. People feel it in your tone, in your presence, in the way you carry yourself. It inspires trust, draws allies, and commands respect. Doubt repels those same things. No one wants to follow someone who constantly questions themselves, but many will rally behind someone whose belief is unwavering. Conviction accelerates not only your own actions but also the way others respond to you. Doubt is also a master of delay because it changes your energy. Even if you take the right action, if you take it with the wrong energy, fear, hesitation, uncertainty, the outcome slows. Conviction speeds it up because it infuses every action with certainty. It tells life, this is already mine, and life responds with opportunities, connections, and alignments that move you forward faster. You can see this difference clearly in those who succeed quickly versus those who take years. Often, it is not skill or luck that makes the difference, it is conviction. The ones who move fast are not waiting for perfect timing or perfect conditions. They decide, they act, and they adapt on the way. Conviction makes them willing to move without needing every detail in advance. Doubt waits for certainty before acting, which means it waits forever. The dangerous thing about doubt is that it often disguises itself as caution or logic. It whispers that you are being realistic, that you should wait for more signs, that you should slow down until everything is guaranteed. But in doing so, it traps you in a holding pattern. Conviction does not ignore reality, it creates a new one. It does not wait for guarantees, it becomes the guarantee through unshakable belief and aligned action. Conviction is not about forcing outcomes through willpower alone. It is about aligning so completely with your decision that everything you do naturally supports it. It is walking as if the result is already certain. When you do this, you stop checking the clock, stop looking for constant reassurance, and stop comparing your progress to others. Your focus shifts entirely to forward movement. And forward movement is the fastest path to results. The truth is, the moment you fully commit to something, the speed of your life changes. You notice doors that were invisible before. You meet people who seem to appear at just the right moment. You get ideas that move you forward in leaps instead of inches. This acceleration is not luck. It is the natural response to the clarity and force of conviction. Every time doubt enters your mind, it places a pause on your momentum. It doesn't just slow you down, it can undo progress you've already made by pulling your attention back to old fears. But when conviction is present, even obstacles become stepping stones. You don't see them as reasons to stop but as challenges to navigate quickly. Conviction keeps you moving no matter what appears in your way. If you want to accelerate anything in your life, remove the doubt, decide fully and finally that it is done. Speak as though it is done, act as though it is done. Let your tone, your choices, and your presence reflect that decision so clearly that there is no room for question. The sooner you remove doubt, the sooner you remove delay. The moment you replace hesitation with conviction, you step onto a faster track where time bends to your decisiveness and life rushes to meet you, and so it comes down to this: your life bends toward the words you speak with certainty, the faith you hold without wavering, and the actions you take as if the change is already here. Doubt will slow your steps, scatter your focus, and keep your hands empty, but conviction will gather your energy, sharpen your aim, and pull your future into the present. Speak as the one who already stands where you want to be. Live as the one who has already crossed the line. Guard your declarations, protect your certainty, and let every breath carry the proof that it is done.